Greetings, YouTube. Elizabeth Poe was upset that women wanted to buy yarn in her shop to make pink cat hats or pussy hats for the protest that took place the day after the inauguration. My wife and I actually got to see some of the women in New Hampshire that were sporting these hats at a diner while we were having lunch. In fact, some women had just given out these hats. There was people had made many of them extras and were giving them out to people so that everyone could have them if they chose. My wife got a button from one of the women because we were unable to attend, and had to go help my mother fix her computer again. And Elizabeth Ho owns a yarn shop and doesn't want this business. She doesn't want women buying yarn at her shop to make pink pussy hats. She turned the shopper away and took to Facebook to declare that people who want yarn for any woman's movement project should shop elsewhere. The vulgarity, violence, and evilness of this movement is absolutely despicable, she said. The kind of behavior is unacceptable and is not welcomed at the joy of knitting. I will never need that kind of business to remain open. Now, one woman made a really good point about this, is that her comment was, while I support your right to make your feelings known, Elizabeth, you really need to pick up a history book. One commenter wrote, the fact that you are able to own your own business is, in part, due to some brave woman marching decades ago, which is a wonderful example of how Miss Poe is absolutely and completely missing the point. There's a saying, quiet women don't change history. You have to protest for the rights you want. The rights you want to gain, the rights you want to defend, the rights you want to strengthen. And at one time, Miss Poe wouldn't have been able to own a business. She wouldn't have been able to own a bank account without her husband's permission. If she had been a school teacher and single, as soon as she got married, she would have had to have given up her job because now that she was married, her husband would take care of her. And all of these things changed because women got out there and marched and protested and changed the system. And they didn't do it by being quiet, about being concerned troll like Miss Poe is doing here and saying, well, you shouldn't protest like that. You should protest in a way that I approve of. Yeah, we can see in a modern America how well that's worked for people of color. The only level of complacency and quietness that many white Americans are happy with when it comes from people of color are when the people of color are dead. And the GOP is not going to listen to quiet women. They are going to, however, listen to the fact that it was the largest protest in U.S. history, and it spanned the globe. Miss Poe is wrong here. And not only is she wrong, she's being anti-woman. She is working against her own best interests that she would not even have today. She would not have the voice to speak the way she has if it weren't for other women that have protested in the past. Miss Poe is missing the point, and she's crapping on her own rights and the rights of women around her and women who will come forth in the future. She's crapping all over the rights of girls right now, who may like someday to be able to say, own their own business, vote, speak in public, have bodily autonomy, and decide if they want to have children or not. Maybe they want to have access to birth control or access to reproductive rights and the use of abortion. And these are things that women have to fight for. Maybe those girls don't want to grow up in a nation that ignores sexual harassment, that downplays sexual assault and rape, that is more concerned with the sporting careers of accused rapists and convicted rapists than they are with the people who have been victims of those crimes. Ms. Poe is monumentally ignorant. Her social conservatism has completely wiped out her ability to see the world around her, to see that the rights and the privileges that she has right now were gained by women protesting. I hope Miss Poe gets a clue someday. I really do. And I hope that the movement that was started with the Women's March continues forward. We need to use that momentum to make sure that at the midterm elections, we do everything we can to limit the power of the GOP. And I'm hoping that that march will also help more people to understand the toxicity of social conservatism. It is an ideology that we need as a species to eradicate. It has done nothing for us. Nothing. Social conservatism has done nothing to help humanity. It has at best held us in place, and at worst done everything in its power to push us back. So please, if you know someone like Miss Poe, talk to them. Help them to understand. And let them know that the rights they have today were gained through protest.